Hello, Lying.
Hello, Strife.
It's been another 2 weeks since we last
Yeah,
played,
yeah,
and I logged in, and I found an enormous mess that I forgot existed. Oh my
yeah.
word.
Well,
Um,
parts of it are highly organized.
Parts of it. The the,
Parts.
the thing is, like the part that's the most ramshackle right now is our oil operation, which I
Yeah,
will say that I have done some research. I know how to clean this up now. It's just going to be a process of like cutting the supply off to everything and then and then just basically letting the tanks and everything empty.
yeah. I
So for
think
extra supplies. So
the only thing I could really help with it is to just get these advanced circuits over here. I think that's about it.
so I'm disconnecting our oil supply as of now.
Right. That's going
And
to paralyze our lab research.
yeah, it will. I am not going to deny that. But that being said, we're not really producing any oil in the first place. These wells have gotten down to .1 production.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah,
that
each.
is low.
So that's, I
Which
mean,
means
we
we
weren't
kind
really.
of need to investigate another supply, don't we?
Yeah, so like on that note, I do have my notes in front of me from like the last round of fun. So the notes that I wrote were blue science, speed upgrades, red circuits, and then in all caps, tanks with a bunch of exclamation marks, and rail system. So, yeah.
Now, I have been playing around with this a lot in single player recently.
I saw that over the last week or
losing,
so.
losing many hours of sleep, it has to be said. But I haven't as yet dealt very much with trains or the wiring system, or indeed oil. Oil is like the thing I've most recently started to touch on because I'm a little infatuated with the logistics reports.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've actually looked up, you know, a solution online because there are other people who are like so into this game that they've, you know, spent like hardcore hours, long and hard, you know, like making everything super efficient.
Oh, so me.
Well, I mean, yeah. I suppose if you really want to try to insert yourself into the middle of this
Oh,
conversation,
we've
sure.
got a train on the bottom left here.
My word.
Ooh,
I see
that is a bad thing to see on the map.
That's a huge number of frickin' things running at us.
Jeez, parts of this wall are not healthy.
Yeah, I think that we might want to,
We might want to cleanse that particular nest.
we'll need to cleanse the nest. For the immediate time being, a really quick solution we've got is just to build like 2 more turrets and put them down here. Because obviously this thing is not killing them fast enough. It's down to 40 bullets, for God's sake.
Criminy.
Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take...
that's 40 magazines, but yes.
Well, you know what I mean. Anyway, I've actually looked up a system. I'm gonna fill that, I'm gonna grab some of the good ammunition and fill the guns over there with the good stuff.
When we have a pair of tanks, we can ride over there like it's Butch and Sundance. But for now, we have to panic. Once again, another reference I don't think that actually made it over the pond. Oh well.
Butch and Sundance. Oh, okay, anyway. Alright, so, I've, like I said, I've got my I've been doing my homework. I've learned, how to, you know, make a super tight-knit, well-designed, oil processing line, which actually does not take up any space whatsoever compared to what I've, got right now. Well, technically it'll take up more space, but it'll be 5 times more efficient.
Nice.
So, yeah, what I found was pretty good, pretty efficient, etc. Anyway. Gun turrets.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna try and tidy up the advanced processing units because they're over here in a weird way, and then they have to go all the way over to here in an even weirder way. And currently all that we're doing is just transferring them from one chest to another, so... bleh.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good. Can do better. We'll do better.
Well, okay then. What do we want to tackle? What do we want to put our effort towards first? I mean, other than the fact that, you know, it's like, yeah, we got to take care of oil and everything. I think that for the time being, since I cannot redesign the entire oil processing system until our tanks run dry here, because I kind of want to do that first, you know?
So you just cut off the pump jacks and just wait for it to drain.
Well, that's exactly what I've done. I've cut off the pump jacks, and it's going into a storage unit. So, yeah, just wait for it to drain.
Well, meanwhile, you could try giving us a bit more space, because we've got almost nothing between us and the sea to the left here, so that's a fairly decent point for us to expand the wall.
That is true. So you're talking about the enormous frickin' sea over to the left.
Yeah, that is a substantially better source of water than the small puddle we're using below us.
I can't deny you on that one. If only we could do oil processing off-site, but it doesn't. We can't do that because pipes.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
The only like sources of oil we could potentially go to are one way to the south.
You know,
I
I'm
have to have at least 2 different sources of.
I'm actually kind of partial to the idea of like, you know what? How about we just put a gate on the left, and we put an enormous pumping station on the lake, and then use underground pipes to run it back. And
just pray nothing attacks it?
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to do something to protect it and everything, but I mean, I don't know, that kind of seems like a better plan than what we're running on right now, with the tiny amount of space that I have to pump oil from, so. Other than...
I presume you're shoving bullets into these turrets here, because they're kind of telling me they're empty.
Yeah, I just put them down. I realized I didn't have any extra bullets on me. So, I'm thinking, we should probably get on top of tanks first, because we've already got the munitions, manufacturing going, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of stands to reason that we should do tanks next, because that'll allow us to clear out at least a little bit of the nesting that we've got problems with.
Yeah.
And actually, have you how many strategy games have you ever played in your life?
A few. I haven't managed to play the latest StarCraft still, but
okay, so
I did play the old StarCraft.
I ask specifically because I'm curious if you know what tower offense is. That's strategy.
That rings a bell, but I might be delving into like the deep web of my brain.
Okay, so tower offense is something that like it was a standard in Warcraft 2, and you could do it with some races in Warcraft 3. You could also do it in Age of Empires and stuff. It's an older type of, you know, strategy because it takes a real-time strategy to do it. But the general idea is that you would go right outside someone's base at the very beginning of the game with a single worker, and you'd start building defensive towers right on the edge of their base, outside of their fog of war, so that the minute that they tried to leave, like, they'd start getting slaughtered, you know? So
the siege tanks on the hill kind of thing.
Kind of, but, you know, instead of a tank, it's actually a building that you build. So I think we might actually be able to take on some of the larger nests that, because I'm telling you, those nests are going to be a nightmare to mess with.
Oh yeah.
I think that we'll actually be able to take on the nests really easily if we take turrets with us with spare bullets, and we set those up in a line, kind of, surrounded by walls.
I can see what you're thinking. It would be a lot easier if we had construction robots and personal roboports and blueprints, but I can see how you're thinking. If there's 2 of us, we can probably put them down fast enough.
Yeah, so what I'm kind of saying is that it's like put 3 or 4 turrets down with good bullets in them, surround them with wall, and then like that's where we fall back to, basically. That's where we fall back to if we, you know, start getting hit way too hard, because it'll happen very, very suddenly where you're like, oh shit, we've got to fall back, you know?
Strife, I've got bad news for you. We've been under attack like every other minute right now.
Yeah, I know. This is getting to be a real serious problem that we're gonna need to fix. How are the walls doing? Actually, come to think of it, I'm gonna make some repair packs for myself.
Actually, there's a point. We have some roboports and some construction robots. We can actually have them auto-repair it. That's blue skying it, but nonetheless. think in one test world I built an entire base that was just running off of construction robots, and oh boy, were they ever tired. So much power.
I didn't know that construction robots use that much power.
They don't when they're running. But they have like an internal battery that runs dry, and then they have to recharge it.
Oh.
And they can only carry so much, so you have to have a bunch of them. So then you're looking at like having roboports sort of like 200 robots per roboport, and then it gets to be kind of absurd.
Oh, that would be why. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Do I have a spare chest on me?
What is happening?
Battery production stopped dead because, we don't have a way to feed, iron plates into, the production line, which, you know, we're gonna rip up and replace because it's a mess right now.
Yep.
So I never put, like, basically a buffer chest where it's just like, here's some iron plates. Use them, you know? So, yeah, that's it. That was the situation. That was just the situation. Okay, so, now that that's done, we should be ever so slowly. Actually, how the hell do you make explosives in this game? Light oil, heavy oil, and iron plates. Well, well, well.
Something you have in abundance, I'm guessing?
We have enough. We have some heavy oil still. Not as much as I would prefer at this point. But we do have plenty of light oil. I'm thinking I got a plan.
But will it come together?
We will find out. We will find out soon enough.
I am evidently in a very, like, old TV/movies reference kind of mood today, it seems.
Will it come together? That's an old movie TV reference thing? I didn't know.
Yeah, that's A-Team.
Is it? I've never actually watched the A-Team. I've only seen, like, bits and pieces.
I love it when a plan comes together, and what Murdoch says every time.
You are just all over the old references these days.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I am, apparently.
Right, so anyway, okay, that goes to there. We've got lots of plastic going through the system.
Are you making fun of me?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you insulting my people?
Your people. Oh, you mean those people that imperialized the whole world at one point in time? It's just some of that,
On behalf of the Queen, I am offended.
You literally brought... You asked for it because you brought it up, man. I wasn't doing nothing other than, like,
you
talking
started
to
doing
myself.
it.
I was merely talking to myself. I didn't even mean anything by it.
Have you ever seen this trick, by the way? Like, it's... I've discovered it in terms of just being completely, utterly anal retentive in terms of how efficient I want things to be. I found out a way to get things from one half of a conveyor belt without using actual inserter.
Where the hell are you? What are you pointing out here?
This underground belt.
Oh, that... You're kidding me. It works that way?
Yeah. It
What
blocks
the
one half of the... It's like one half of a conveyor belt deep. So you can use it to block one half of it and get the other side.
You're telling me that that's just picking up the circuits and it's not picking up the plates?
Yep.
Well, I've got a feeling that that's more of an emergent thing that was not intended, and it's like
there is some debate on whether it's like a bug or a feature, but
my bet is that it might be one of those things where the devs are like, we didn't intend that, but you know what?
Yeah.
We're not gonna stop it.
Yeah, I think it just might need some slight graphical update to explain. Oh yeah, this is totally meant to be a thing.
Let's see here. What does it take to make those efficiency modules? Advanced and standard circuits. Phew, expensive. Plenty well expensive. Tanks are almost ready to go.
Nice. And I've nearly got these circuits over to here, which will then mean that we can start making vast numbers, or slightly larger numbers at least, of advanced processors, and then we should be able to make some fun stuff a bit quicker.
There we go. Okay. I think I'm at a point where I can actually start working on the processing line for chemicals.